new lesson, that is human resource. Who is human? That is you and me. That means individual on this globe. We are all resources. So like natural resources, even human being is also considered as one of the most wealth of the nation. It's because it is we people, that is the population or people of the country, who with their intelligence, knowledge, skill, they turn the things which are natural into resources. Okay, and the people of the country, that means it constitutes the population of the country, that means which includes the adult, children and the senior citizens. And you know that the children who are 14 years, that means those who are under 14 years are considered as a children, and those between 15 to 60 are considered as a adult, and those above 60 years are considered as a senior citizens. And this particular group, that means the age group of 15 to 60, are considered as one of the greatest people. It means they play a very important role in the economic development of a country. So we can say that people are a nation's greatest resource. It's because nature's bounty, that means the resources become significant only because of these people. Because these people, they are going to utilize these resources, and according to the demands and ability, they turn them into resources. So that's why we can say that human resources is the greatest resources. So if we provide this resource, that is human resources, better health facilities, education and other technical training, you can see that they can develop the resources as much as required and take the country to the greater extent. Okay, so we can say that on the whole, the people of the nation are the greatest resource. Adults capable of working become the national wealth. So what does it mean? Just now I said that adults, it means the age group of 15 to 60 are called as adults. They are the working people. That means they work and they create and they contribute to the growth of the country. So if these adults are provided with the proper knowledge, skill and abilities, they form the human resources of the country. Since the population of the adult is more in India and there is an increase in the workforce. Increase in the workforce means you could see the people, that means who are the people who are engaged in the various fields, that means in the process of production, that is in the field of agriculture, industry and the service sector. Okay, so adults form the human resources because they are the one who are creating, that means who are contributing to the growth of the country. So these people are referred to the people who are part of the workforce. Workforce means the people, okay, the people who are engaged in the various field, that is in agriculture, industries and service sector. Okay, so they are human resource, they are referred as a workforce. That means the people who are engaged in the various field, that is in the process, in the field of agriculture, industry and service sector. So this group we have more in India. Since the population of India is more in India, so there is an increase in the workforce. That is, you have more number of people who are able to work. So if this particular group of people are given the proper education, training and health facilities, they are provided as a human resources and they can transfer. This means this increase in the, that means they can be transferred into human capital. Okay, because they possess the capability to increase the national income and also to transfer the society. So if a higher investment is made on the human resources, you can yield a better return, and it could be done through education, training and healthcare. And it is also truly known that a person who is educated, he can earn better than an uneducated person. And also, if a healthy person is much more productive than an unhealthy person. So from this we can say that educated human are a good resource. Educated human are a good resource. It says that if you invest on the education of the human resource, you can yield a better income. That means you can get a better things. Okay, and that's why today you could see most of the well-educated parents who understand the value of education, they have started investing in their child's education to see that a better future for a child can be given. And also, even this educated parents are also very conscious about the health. So they provide even the health and the nutritious food also to the children. So this child, he can lead a better life and create a better human resources. So that's the importance of the educated human, if they are provided a well training and also good nutrition. Okay. Further, even the educated person, or that means education also enhances the literacy rate. That means the literacy level of the country also will improve, and the skill level and the literacy level both will help in enriching the culture of the society. So presence of the educated person in the society is indirectly benefit even to the illiterate person also. And you could also see that many countries, that is well developed countries, for example, when you take the Japan, okay, it has invested in the human resources. Though it doesn't have much natural resources, how could this country could become a developed? It's because it has invested on the human resource, okay, especially in the field of education and health. So these people, that means these educated people, have made the efficient use of the resources, that is like the land and capital. So efficiency and the technology that was evolved by the people have made this country a rich and developed. So what I want to tell is that here is educated human are a good resources for the country. So if a higher investment is made on education and health of the children, they will be able to earn the higher income in the future and make the valuable contribution to society. And that's the reason why educated and healthy working people are considered as a nation's human resource. So next we will do about the importance of the human resource. So in order to know how human resources play an important role in the economic development, let us discuss about the importance of the human resources. So in ordinary sense, human resources refers to the population of the country. But in economics, it is healthy, educated and skilled person. So healthy, educated and skilled person is known as a human resources. So these human resources plays a very important role, as I told, in the economic development of the country. Firstly, it is these human resources which mobilize the capital and the natural resources. It means that you have abundant of resources around you, isn't it? So they are lying useless. It's only because of the human effort, that means the talent and intelligence, these resources can be utilized. So human resources are necessary to mobilize these natural resources. Secondly, human resources are essential in order to utilize the natural resources. That is, as I told, there are many resources around us. That is your mineral, water, forest, etc. Okay. So to utilize these resources, that is, it is necessary, which is for economic development, we need the human resource. Okay. So utilization of the natural resources, it means human resource is very, very essential for the utilization of these natural resources like mineral, water and forest, okay, for the economic development of the country. So only human resource can mobilize and utilize these resources. And thirdly, the human resources is necessary to compensate the deficiency of natural resources. Just now I gave the example of Japan. As I told, now Japan is a country which doesn't have much natural resources, but it has invested the money on the capital and the and other resources. So due to that, you could see that today it has become one of the very well developed country. So the utilization of the human resources compensate the deficiency of the natural resources. And second, next, utilization of machinery. That means you know that there are many industries which had established the physical capital. So what do you mean by physical capital? That is, there are so many machines that is been installed in order to run the factories, isn't it? So if you install those machines, or if you just make the machines to place it in the factory, it doesn't work out. So you need people to run that. So you need the skilled, efficient and better informed personality. That means a human being to run this machinery. So to operate this machinery and to operate the equipments, you need the human resources. Next, we need human resources in order to bring a change in the technology. You know that human resources of the country, that means they can bring the new technology and advanced technology which is necessary for the development of the country. For example, whatever that we have today, the latest technologies like computers, mobiles, electricity and the fast moving vehicles, all these are the contributions of the human resource. So human resource also brings the changes in the technology. So like this, you have several advantages, that is several uses from the human resource, so that play a very important role in the economic development. But still till now, India considered this a large population as a great burden. But now it has been considered as, it has been viewed as a resource. Okay, and this is possible because they are converting the people, that means into a productive asset, by providing the good education, training and health facilities. So we'll do now today about the characteristics of India's population. So characteristics of India's population is based on the size, density, growth and quality of population. That means it is being featured on the features of size, density, growth and quality of population. Okay, so characteristics of India's population, it is based on the features of size, density, growth and quality of the population. See, in order to have a basic understanding about the population problem of a country, and one should have the knowledge about all these things. Okay, so in India, that means population census has been held every once in a 10 years. That is, recently in 2011 the census was held. So these things are based on those report. So now let us see one by one what are the characteristics of the India's population. Firstly, we will take about the size. Okay. Large size and growth. Okay. Large size and growth. According to the 2011 census, it is said that the population of India was 121.1 crores. So India stands second in the place of the population next to the China. Okay, and it is also been said that every sixth person in the world is an Indian. And even the growth rate, the rate of growth of population has been higher than the population of other countries. They say that the population growth of the country, that is our country, is at 1.8%. That is equivalent to the population growth of the Australia. Okay, so this situation is called as a population explosion, and this is because of the increase in the birth rate and the decline of the death rate. So this is about the large size and the growth. Okay, the population according to 2011 is 121.1 crore. Okay, this is because of the decline in the death rate and the birth and increase in the birth rate. So because of this problem, you could see that India is rapidly growing and it is creating a lot of population problem. Okay. Next, second characteristic feature of the India's population is second stage of demographic transition. Okay, demographic means features of population, study of features of population. So actually, according to the theory of demographic transition, the population of a country passes under three different stages. Okay, the first stage, it has been characterized by like this. So in the first stage, there will be high birth rate and high death rate. Okay, according to the theory of demographic transition, the population growth of the country passes through three different stages. The first stage, you have a high birth rate and a high death rate. So what happens here in this stage, you could see the growth of the population will be zero. So in 1921, India was in this first stage of demographic transition. Okay, but now at present, India is undergoing the second stage of demographic transition. So what is the feature of the second stage of demographic transition is that you find high birth rate. Okay, you find high birth rate and decline in the death rate. Okay, so India is undergoing the second stage of demographic transition. So here you find the high birth rate and the decline in the death rate. So what happens? So this led to the growth of the population. So now India is under the second stage of demographic transition, where death rate has come low and birth rate is been leading. So what happened? Due to this, there will be a high population growth. So India is passing through the second stage of demographic transition.